Hey guys, how you doing? Dr. Lou Hilliard here. I'd like to welcome you guys. Let me get my light here fixed up so we have a little bit of light. So I don't. There we go. I'd like to welcome you guys to Dr. Lou's News and Reviews. And part of my videos, what I like to do is try to also keep this like a motivational as well, and also give you stories and insights into my life and where I came from, and also literally some of the situations that I had to endure growing up in life, which helped me to become a champion now more than ever. A story that I had that most people don't know about is that when I was a kid at around 7 or 8 years old, my brother and I literally fell into the Niagara Falls, and it was in the month of February. It was like 1983, 1984. So I was only about 10 years old or 8 years old at the time. But let me tell you about that night and literally, how it was one of those nights that literally shaped me and brought me to, who I am and really sometimes my understanding and how I just never give up. So as you see behind me, there's a video playing of Niagara Falls in the dead of winter, probably in December, January, or February. And it was in February as I said, and it was a cold, dark night. I remember, my brother getting me up, and he's like, "Hey, man, come on, we got to go running." We had a wrestling tournament. We used to do wrestling tournaments. So my older brother was a state champion wrestler, as well as myself as I was going up. So we did wrestling tournaments and exercised no matter what the conditions were. So on this particular night, it was probably like in the middle of the week. I do remember because we had a wrestling tournament coming up, and my brother's like, "Come on, let's go, and we'll go running around the falls." And I'm like, "Okay." So he said, "We'll bring our dog, and let's bring Wolf." And Wolf was a Belgian Shepherd, and he was a big old strong dog. And so anyway, so my brother and I, we get up and we start running down what's called Niagara Street, all the way down into the falls. And we go and we get to the Niagara Falls and we start running. Now, in the wintertime in Western New York, and particularly it's very snowy, but particularly in Niagara Falls, there's a tremendous amount of snow, but also because of the mist from the falls, everything gets coated in ice. And you can see that literally behind me in this video, how everything is coated in ice. So if you're running, you're literally running on a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick ice. And on top of it, and of course, your weight of your body would push you through, and you kind of like feel like you're a monster as you're running. That's what I did. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old at this time. And so my brother, myself, and my dog, we begin running, and we're going on an island called Goat Island. People in Niagara Falls, my hometown friends, they know exactly all of this or where it's at. And there used to be a point down there. It's called Terrapin Point. It's still there. When you look at the clip of this movie, the thumbnail, I have an arrow pointing right to where this situation began. So let me begin the stories. Now I give you some of the backdrop. So my brother and I, we get out and we start running. It's particularly cold this night. It's probably 5 degrees, maybe just a couple degrees more or less, and it's very cold. And I remember we were bundled up, but we were still going running, and typically want to dress in layers. So it's around 7, 8 o'clock at night, so it's very dark. And we shouldn't have been there. And I was so young. My brother probably should have had a little bit more sense than me and taken me there. But we went anyways. And as you can see behind me, we went running, and literally we were running down the Terrapin Point area on Goat Island, and literally the water is right here on our left. And all of a sudden, as we're running, and we're crushing through the ice and snow with each step, just crushing through. And then all of a sudden, my dog runs up ahead of us, and all of a sudden he's gone. And then all of a sudden my brother runs up. I said, "Billy, where's Wolf at? He's gone." He runs up, and my brother's gone. And I'm like, oh my God, I am literally, guys, I'm not even probably 4 feet high. I don't probably weigh 100 pounds yet at this time. And my dog and my brother, I just seen, are literally gone into the falls. So I look over, I run over, and I grab this bush, and I see my brother and I see my dog trying to fight. They're trying to get out of the rapids, and the rapids are so strong and everything. And I start slipping in, and literally my foot hits into the water. I can literally, my leg kicks up because of the rush of this water that's coming in. Literally, guys, we are not even 100 feet from the brink of the falls. We are literally, I can hear the roar of the falls as loud as can be. And the water was just as violent and just as menacing as ever you could possibly see. And the coldness was, unbelievable. Myself, I only got to go in, just above to my knees and almost was swiped out. My older brother had to grab a hold of a rock and held on for dear life. And unfortunately, we both seen, we were able to get Wolf out of the water. When we got him out of the water, he shook and slid back in. He shook to get himself dry, he slid back in, and we seen our dog go over the brink. As I said, it wasn't that far. And now I'm sitting here, I'm still on shore. I got a bush handle, or grabbing a hold of a bush. It's wrapped around my hand. I'm crying. I have no idea what to do. And my brother's like, Louis, you got to get up. You got to make it and go to, there was a sheriff's station, I guess, it was up at the top, or parks department building up there. And so I had to crawl out of the falls, literally, and then of course, walk up there's this really steep hill. To this day, I know exactly where it's at, what happened. And I had to literally walk up this hill, frozen from the knees down, crying. I don't know if my brother's going over the falls. I just seen my dog go over the falls. And now I see people driving, because people used to drive around Goat Island, which I'm sure they still do, to watch the colors of the lights against the water and people driving around. And here's this little kid, this little dirty little kid, crying, pounding on people's cars as they're driving by, asking for help. And people didn't stop. They didn't stop. They thought I was joking. They thought maybe I was probably carjack their car. Well, that was before all of the craziness of today's society. We didn't do that stuff as children. But, people definitely probably thought I was crazy, because I'm acting frantic. I'm saying my brother is in the falls. My dog went over the falls, and people didn't believe me. And then eventually somebody did. And we were able to go grab the parks department together. And then I was able to bring them and show them where my brother was. At this time, my brother's still in the falls, hanging on. It's been over 30 minutes. He's been in there. And then, of course, his rescue operation starts to begin. And of course, we get my brother out. They take us both to Niagara Memorial Hospital. And that's when, of course, we had to do observations and stuff like that. Excuse me, guys, 1 second. I want to plug in my computer before I lose you. Okay, I'm back. So then, of course, after that, never really realized how that particular incident impacted my life. Let me tell you, like, the mindset of me as a 10-year-old kid, I remember, climbing up what I thought was a mountain. It pretty much is the embankment of the falls, as well as the embankment of just the natural grounds of Goat Island, and also with the difficulty of, everything was ice. So trying to walk up a slope, trying to walk up a hill was almost impossible for me. and I'm crying profusely. And I just remember just grabbing trees that had inch thick icicles, and they're just breaking as I'm trying to pull them so I can pull me up. And and the strength that I guess that I endured in that time, I didn't know that I had. I was just trying to survive. But what it did was it gave me a sense of knowing that, man, I'm different in some way. I don't know how I just came out of this thing. But even to this day, when I face obstacles, that I will not give up until I achieve a goal. And I've always been like that. And I don't know if it's because of that night of facing, the deadly, merciful Niagara Falls, my brother and I at 10 years of age. I saved my brother's life. People are like, great job and stuff like that. But it's not even about that. I love my brother dearly. We had a great childhood growing up, and but there was also some, very important lessons that we had to take from there. But, one is, of course, respecting the falls, respecting greater powers than you, that you have to be literally ready for anything that comes into your life. You have to be ready for anything that happens, because you just don't know. You could be out with your family and all of a sudden the situation turns. And how you respond to that situation is going to determine, maybe even at times, life or death. And at that time, unfortunately, at such a young age, I was faced with that life or death situation. And I'm going to share with you, there was many more times in that. People are like, Louis, you have some of the best stories ever. I lived a tremendously wonderful life that's been good, but also I had, a lot of trials and errors that, cost me, but also that I learned tremendous lessons that I hope to share with you guys. And that's why, every week or, twice a week or something, I'm going to share a story of myself and my personal life, how I grew up with a situation, but how you can take that home with you and learn how to build it and learn how to achieve your goals. So there again, so here we got it. You're faced with a situation, you don't know what to do. The first thing that you need to do is always just follow your heart and follow your instincts. I know when I was 10 years old, I could hear my instincts literally yelling at me and telling me, the right things to do. I just felt it. And at times, guys, we all got to start just listening to our inner wisdom, because it will help you through the toughest times in life. And then of course, the strength and perseverance, you have to be in shape. You have to be exercising. Exercises increases your body's energy. Increasing your body's energy is going to increase your productivity as well as your output. And if you're ever touching a situation and it's beyond unbearable, where you're climbing up what you think is, a situation that you just can't achieve, but know that, every step that I took through that ice, and snow, it was the hardest step ever. But it was growing and growing and growing as I continued. And of course, we were successful in saving my brother's life. Unfortunately, we lost a dog. But with that being said, the silver lining, I was very hurt as a child. I remember crying for weeks because I lost my favorite dog, Wolf. He went running with me every day, pretty much, when I was getting ready for football or wrestling. And but with even his death, it even gave me a bigger appreciation for animals and making sure that I take care of animals. All of my animals are rescue animals now. I have a house full of animals too. And but with that being said, sometimes that when you're faced with adversity in life, that you may not see the silver lining for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 years, 5 years. You might not see that lining, but one day you will see that silver lining and the lesson that you needed to learn, but also the situation that you needed to go through to propel you to help you get through the harder challenges. God knew what was coming up in my life. He knew that I had to be strong. So he had to put a lot of tests on me, especially as a young man, to help me get ready for who I'm becoming today. And that's the same thing with you guys as well. That if you take each of your situations in your childhood, good, bad, indifferent, look at the good side to it, look at the bad side, try to get that silver lining. And sometimes you might just have to listen to that, to that voice of greatness, and it will tell you, what is the lesson that you needed to learn, or why did that happen to you? Why did that happen to me? Well, instead of being the victim of why did it happen to me, you need to take that situation and go, what can I take from it? What lesson do I need to learn that's going to propel me to become a better person in life, to be a better person in society, to maybe even help me reach my goals? So understand that all of these tough situations that you're going through are not out of vain. God's trying to teach you a lesson, and you need to listen and find out what that lesson is. You need to listen or even see what that silver lining is, because every bad thing that happens to you does not have to end bad. Every tough situation that happens to you does not have to end bad. You have the very power to write the ending. You have the very power to control the situation. You have the very power to perceive the situation in another light in order to grow, in order to manifest better growth for you. You have the ability to take the situation that you are in and help you to become better than you've ever have been, but you just have to quiet and listen and let God show you, let the universe show you what it is that it's trying to tell you. And every time you learn that lesson, then you go to the next step. Every time you learn that lesson or you go through a hard time, there is always riches after the hard time. There's always a better, fresh beginning after the hard times. Hard times just don't last forever. They come in cycles. Have you ever noticed that? Some are faster than others. Some people love to find the drama and destroy their lives or make it very hard. But understand that life is a complete cycle. You're going to have very good days. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some terrible days. You're going to have some okay days, and you're going to have some phenomenal days. And it's going to go right back around again. So understand that even when you're in a tough situation, that it does not mean it's going to last forever. It's not. It never does. It might last a day. It might last a week. It might last even a month or two. But understand that bad times do not last forever. Good times do not last forever. What you need to do is learn how to balance your emotions, balance your life, that where you're going to have highs and lows, but you're not blowing up here and blowing down here. Of course, you don't want to live a life like that. You'll drive yourself crazy. Of course, everybody around you as well. So, if you can balance your emotions, control them. When I was a little kid, walking up Niagara Falls trying to save my brother, I was hysterical. I did not know. I was freaked out. I didn't know the situation that I was in. I never even expected or experienced anything like that. Of course, dog falling in, brother falling in, I'm almost falling in. Our lives could have been changed drastically, and I have thought about that. You know, at an instant, I could have been brotherless. At an instant, my brother could have lost me. In an instant, all three of us could have been gone, and nobody would have ever known what happened to us. In an instant. But, thank God I was able to persevere through my emotions, through this ridiculous situation of almost despair, control my emotions to be able to think where to go, where to stop people, to communicate with people and be able to bring people back, to the point to be able to save, my brother's life. So, there again, control your emotions, man. Understand, in life right now, the news, the media, TV, the music, the TV shows, Netflix, Facebook, it is so negative, man. It is so negative that we have to find a way to break ourselves out from it. That if you want to grow, you got to get that negative stuff out. And too many times we start our day looking at Facebook and we see posts, and Facebook does this on purpose. It put posts that it knows that it's going to get you upset. Have you ever noticed that you see more posts that get you upset, and then of course, and you say something, you might get blocked, some of you, whatever. Just understand that it's a negative tool. It feeds off negative energy. The TV feeds off negative energy. The news loves to give you the negative energy. That's what has kept this world divided, and it almost conquered us. And I say almost because we're literally hanging on a thread. Humanity is hanging on a thread. And I'm pleading to you guys, white, black, yellow, brown, it don't matter, guys. We need to start banding together. We have to start working, thinking like a community together. The more love we have together, evil cannot win. Evil cannot win. The devil wants you to be doubtful. It wants you to be scared. He wants you to be broke. He wants you to think that you're broken. There's no way to get out of it. He wants you to think that you can't find a better life. He wants you to think that you can't. And every part of that is wrong. Every part of it. I've just got done saying, you have the ability to change your life. You have the ability to start today, tomorrow morning. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, or 50 years old. You can change your life starting today. And all you have to do is just get up with a made-up mind and say, I'm not doing it no more. And when that comes, and when that time comes, that's when you need to be disciplined in your beliefs. You need to be disciplined in what God is calling you to do, or what's in that burning desire in your heart. Get out there and prove to the world that you are stronger than any obstacle that can come your way. Whether it be the mighty Niagara Falls, or a mountain, or an obstacle of a family member or spouse or what have you, that you can change. You can break through. You can make a difference. You can leave your legacy. It starts at home, in your own foundation. You do that. You get your foundation. You get your home quiet. You get that quiet. You start forgiving. You start getting focused, and things will start to change for the better. I know this because I have done it. I have done it so many times that it's not hard to do. And we all, even myself, we get distracted. We lose focus. We let fear creep in. I'm just as guilty as anybody here. But I'm able to recognize it and shut it off. The negative monster that wants to keep us down, the negative monster that wants to keep me down, I shut him off, and I get back up, and I don't let nothing stop me, not even the mighty Niagara Falls. I will not let it stop me. So take that, these great words of wisdom, these great words of advice, however they are, it might be just a goofy story to you. I started this channel, Dr. Lou's News and Reviews, because I'm going to be going over a lot of different things. Of course, I'll talk to you a little bit about some good news stuff. I'm also going to be talking, I'm going to be doing story times. I'll tell you all kinds of different things that I've done in my life and hopefully help it tie it into your life, as well as maybe give some people hope. Also, if you can, this will really help me, guys. If you can, subscribe to my channel. Maybe even give a thumbs up on the YouTube. That's I guess kind of like a like. That really helped me out, man. And really, what it does is just help build my channel where I can reach more people, and there might be somebody that I could, maybe save their life or help change their direction of their life. So you never know how far-reaching what you may say, think, or do today that will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. So, you be the change you wish to see in others, and live abundantly, live successfully, and live proud. God bless you. Have a great day.